Thưa quý khán giả của Viet News USA, sống ở Hoa Kỳ, nơi được mệnh danh là thiên đàng trên đất, với sự kết hợp của các giống dân cùng chung sống và chia sẻ các ngôn ngữ, văn hóa, đem lại một sự kết hợp hùng mạnh khó có đất nước nào có thể sánh bằng. Tìm hiểu thêm về các cộng đồng bạn qua những con người thật, việc thật, cũng sẽ giúp chúng ta biết thêm được nhiều cái hay, cái quý đáng học hỏi. Chương trình song ngữ, cuộc sống quanh ta, với các khách mời là những doanh nhân, nghệ sĩ, thương gia, chính trị gia, sẽ đem đến cho chúng ta nhiều bất ngờ thú vị. Chương trình được sử dụng với hai ngôn ngữ tiếng Anh và tiếng Việt, và với sự điều phối thật linh động lưu loát của cô hướng dẫn chương trình xinh đẹp và tài giỏi của tiểu bang Arizona, Tiffany Mộng Tuyệt, sẽ giúp các bạn trẻ thêm sự gần gũi với cộng đồng Việt Nam và cũng như những người khán giả của Viet News USA biết thêm được nhiều thông tin cuộc sống xung quanh ta. Trọng Phúc chào đón quý khán giả đến với chương trình của Viet News USA, một chương trình thiết thực cho mọi gia đình. Cảm ơn quý khán giả đã luôn ủng hộ các chương trình của Viet News USA và đặc biệt là chương trình song ngữ cuộc sống quanh ta. Chương trình nằm nối kết các thế hệ với nhau bằng một chương trình song ngữ. Ngoài ra, chương trình còn tạo điều kiện để chúng ta cùng tìm hiểu về những cộng đồng bạn, những văn hóa, phong tục, tập quán, cùng những thành công, những gương tốt để chúng ta cùng thêm sự hiểu biết và cùng hòa nhập trong cuộc sống tại Hợp Trung Quốc Hoa Kỳ.
Welcome to a journey of courage, hope, and new beginnings. We are starting a new series where we listen to stories of people who made a brave choice, leaving their homes in Bhutan, Ukraine, and Congo to carve out new paths in the United States, particularly in Arizona. These are not just stories of travel. They are about leaving the loved ones behind, navigating unknown waters, and building lives from scratch. And each journey is unique, filled with both hardship and heart. But they're not alone. In this series, we also shine the light on the kindness of strangers like Dr. Sunvo and her team, who welcome these newcomers with open arms and helping hands. You will hear how their support paved the way for integration and success. So join us now as we listen to these inspiring immigration stories. Be ready to be moved by their stories, inspired by their courage, and compelled to act. We encourage you to share the stories, discuss these stories, and open your hearts and lend your support, and become part of the welcome and embrace that makes America a true land of opportunity for all. Hey everyone, we welcome you back to a series that so far has been really touching for anybody following the program. We've done 2 interviews already with different individuals, immigrants from the various countries. Right now in front of you, we have previously Dr. Martin Masimango and also his wife, Mrs. Khan. So the both of them are here today. Today, Martin is a pastor at his church, but he's come a long, long way to where he's at today. And we are very excited to hear about Martin and Khan's story, how they came to the U.S., why did they come here in the first place, and their overall experience of being in the U.S. There will be a follow-up segment where we also will introduce the folks that Martin and Mrs. Khan here have been helping, folks, young men and young women from refugee camps. But for now, we're going to get to know them a little bit. So Martin and Khan, please say a few words to our audience.
Thank you for coming here and do the interview with us. We really appreciate for your time for coming and let us express our feelings and what we experienced when we came here in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you came from Africa, yeah. But once we say Africa, it's massive. Yes. It's a massive, here in the US, and most people just know it of Africa, but truly the diverse landscape, the languages spoken, and so on. Maybe you can share with our audience here just an overview of what Africa is about.
Africa is a big continent. It's like, it has 50 countries.
50 countries.
With different languages, different culture. Yeah, because we've been colonized by a lot of countries. Some they speak French, some they do speak English, some they speak Portuguese. Yeah, so it's kind of diversity like America. Yeah. So I'm from Democratic Republic of Congo, where we use French as a you can say like an official language. But the country has more than 300 languages, the local languages.
Kính thưa quý vị, khi mà chúng ta nói về Africa, thường mình chỉ nghĩ Africa là Africa thôi, nhưng mà thật ra như mà ông Martin vừa chia sẻ đây, đó là một nơi mà có hơn 50 nước và hơn 300 cái ngôn ngữ khác nhau. Thì ông đến từ Congo và ông cùng với vợ ông là bà Con là ở đây một thời gian. Hiện giờ thì công việc của hai vị đó là giúp đỡ cho những người immigrants, làm việc cho văn phòng của bác sĩ Xuân Vũ là Arizona Family Plan. Thì cái câu chuyện mà hai vị sẽ chia sẻ hôm nay cho chúng ta biết thêm về cái lịch sử, về những cái gọi là từ hiện giờ gọi là trải nghiệm khác nhau của những người mà di dân từ những cái nước khác nhau. Trong trường hợp này đó là Congo. So Martin, I was just briefly translated what you've shared with us, but tell us about your story back home and how did you come about going to the US and residing in the US?
We didn't have a dream for coming to US. We were in the country. I'm born and raised in Congo. Then, after the regime of the former president, then the war started. So during the war, we were forced to flee the country. Then I went to the refugee camp where I stayed for 5 years. The refugee camp in Uganda, this neighboring country. Mm-hmm. So there in Uganda, life was not easy. We used to sleep in plastic tents. Because when you get there, when you are new in the refugee camp, they used to give us 1 to 2 saucepans and 2 cups and 2 plastic plates. Then they'll give you a machete and a hoe and a small tent, plastic tent. Then you have to build your own shelter, your own tent in the forest, not in the town. So there we had a lot of challenges because you have to learn how you can get food to feed your family. For the first time, they just give you those tools, then you can use a hoe to cultivate and to plant food. Then you have to wait until that food gonna grow up, then you can have food. But at that period, so we used to waiting for the food to grow up. We used to go to work for other people. Then from there you can get something to supply to the family. The life was not easy, it was very hard for the start. So we experiences a lot of challenges. You know, we lost everything, well, almost everything. You lost your house. If you have a business, you lose your business. You don't go to school, we don't have a hospital like a clinic where you can get treated. We used to stay in the forest where we without water. So you have to wait the rain to rain, then you can go collect the water in the forest, the stagnant water, then you can use the water to cook, to wash your clothes and drink. So there, life was not easy. Sometimes when you think about it, you feel like you cry. So that's where I started a church, because to see if God can help. That's where I started the church. That's where I started the church, to see to trust in God, because we didn't have nothing, no hope, no expectation of future. So during the refugee camp where we've been, so we had people coming do the interviews and asking the problems we are facing in the refugee camp.
Yeah.
Then we don't know where they're coming from. We just see them in the refugee camp and ask the questions, do interviews. Then we don't know what kind of criteria they were looking for us to qualify to come to US. So there is no like you have to do this to come to US. No, you don't know. You're gonna see your name appearing on the board. Then they will say, okay, you have an interview. Then we went like that to the interview. We did the process, like 3 years process. Then we knew later that we were gonna come to US. We didn't expect to come. It was like a miracle to see, like we've been like 55,000 refugees in the same area with different people, different nationality, because we used to have people from Burundi, people from Rwanda, people from Sudan, Somalia, Ethiopia, Eritrea. So we used to stay together. So we stay together, but different culture, different languages. So it was not easy. It was not really easy. I remember my daughter when I went in the refugee camp, she didn't like to go to bed because we told her this is the house, you need to go to bed. She refused because she couldn't understand the situation we entered in. It was like a bad transition from house to go in the tent. No food, no water, no shower, no restroom, no school. Just waking up, you see the sun, you hear the birds. Then you wait until the sun goes. Then you go to sleep. The same day, the next day, a month, a year. Then it was like a big challenge for us. But we thank God. God helped us a lot to be here in the US.
So you went from a very comfortable life in Congo with previous, with your profession and so on, to a 5-year living in the forest. That's what we're essentially talking about.
Yeah.
And we take a moment here to translate that to our audience. Thì kính thưa quý vị, xin ông kể rất là đầy đủ các chi tiết, nhưng mà ở đây thì chỉ xin phép được dịch lại sơ là sau mà cái cuộc chiến ở bên Congo thì một số người khá đông như là ông đây phải đi qua tị nạn ở bên Uganda. Mà ở đây mình nói tị nạn thì nó cũng rất là nghèo nàn, tại vì mọi người phải đi vào trong rừng ở, chứ không được ở ngoài thành phố hoặc là ở ngoài cái thị trấn, thị xã. Thì khi mà đến thì họ chỉ được phát mọi người là một cái tấm mũ để mà mình xây lều. Và những cái dụng cụ rất là căn bản, vì được một cái con dao, cộng thêm là vài cái thứ lỉnh kỉnh khác để mà nấu nướng hoặc là để dùng làm thức ăn, là như vậy thôi. Rồi mọi người mà muốn ăn uống gì đó là phải tự canh tác và phải trồng trọt mới có nguồn thức ăn. Và ngoài ra thì phải đi làm thêm, làm mướn thêm để có những cái chi phí cũng như là để có thể là mang thức ăn về. Thì khi mà ông đến cái vùng đó thì có con gái ông đi nữa. Thì như quý vị biết, ông này là trước khi mà ở bên Congo thì là một bác sĩ, thì có thể nói là cuộc sống nó cũng khá ổn định rồi. Nhưng mà khi đến Uganda thì phải vào trong một cái cuộc sống như thế, và con cái, nhất là con gái của mình, thì mỗi buổi sáng thức dậy chỉ là thấy ở ngoài bầu trời thì ở trong cái lều, rồi ở đó cho đến buổi chiều tối, rồi lại chật vật như thế, không đi học, vân vân và vân vân. Thì suốt 5 năm thì ông đã sống một cái cuộc sống như vậy. Và may mắn thay thì ông đã được chính phủ Mỹ interview, phỏng vấn để mà đi sang Mỹ. Thì cái việc mà phỏng vấn thì nó cũng mơ hồ lắm, bởi vì ông không biết là người ta đang tìm kiếm những cái gì, người nào sẽ được đầy đủ điều kiện để mà đi sang Mỹ. Thì mình cũng cứ chờ đợi như vậy, nhưng mà sau 5 năm thì ông đã được một cái cơ hội để mà đến nước Mỹ. So, Mrs. Khan, what do you feel like when you heard the news that you guys will actually be going to the United States? What was it like for you?
I was very happy that time because I couldn't imagine how the long time we took over there, and it was very hard life there. So I was very happy.
And how do you take the news? How do you both take the news?
It was like a big surprise.
A big surprise.
It was a big surprise. We used to hear America on news, on the radio, see the newspapers. You see America, you feel like America is a great place where to go to live. So everybody was dreaming to go to America. Everybody did dream. Mm-hmm. If you have one of the president can come and have studies in America, can come back.
So it was a privilege. It was really exciting news.
Yeah,
you couldn't imagine that.
It was very exciting news.
You mentioned about 50,000 folks were at that camp, or and do you know what percentage of people actually got moved to other countries?
It was like a process. So they was doing the installation to the settlement to everybody who has a case with the interview.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they make a decision with the country they are accepted to. The settlement. Yes.
Did most people that you knew actually got to come to other country?
Yeah.
Oh, eventually.
Some went to Europe, like in Norway, Sweden, Canada, Australia. Yeah.
So eventually, most people got happy endings. They got to go to places.
Yeah, like these folks here, they just got here. They just moved from refugee camp to America. Mm-hmm. I left this boy when he was so young.
Oh, and now they're here with you.
Now they're big. Now I'm very happy to see them coming, joining me here, because we used to have them in the church. They've been baptized in the church. They grew up in the church. They've been suffering together. Mm-hmm. Then we're happy together now. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kính thưa quý vị, trong thời gian 5 năm ở trong khu cắm trại đó, thì ông cũng đã coi như là đứng ra để mà tổ chức một cái nhà thờ. I'm talking about your church now, back home. Thì chắc chắn là cái việc mà cái nhà thờ cũng như cái đức tin đó, nó cũng đã giúp cho ông cũng như là rất nhiều người qua cái thời gian đó. How much faith and your church played a role in where you are today, Martin?
Oh, who played role where I am now?
Yeah, the church and your God and what you believed in.
Yeah, in the church, because I was the first one to come to US from the church. Mm-hmm. Then we've been going to the prayer mountain, praying a lot. Then most of people who are going abroad, they are from the church. Then they say that's a miracle place where they get their miracle. So everybody was going in the church, pray there, then God can help them to get out. They don't understand how God was working that church. Most of people who are outside of the refugee camp where we used to stay, they are from that church. And then some they are using my reference. Then when they are going for interview, they say we have our pastor in Arizona. Then that's why you're gonna see them coming from Uganda joining me here as a person they know, because I didn't have a bad reputation. I was a pastor. I was helping them. Yeah, someone was trying to pay the money to go to school when I was here, sending money to eat, to buy food. When it's like Christmas, people who want to sleep, empty stomach, they will call me, then I will send zero money and I have to help them to support them. So the church was very, very helpful. And we got a lot of people coming.
To Arizona, where you're at,
To
because they know
Arizona, where
you.
I am. Some they want just to join me. Yeah.
Because they trusted you, they
Yeah.
want to continue to lean on you, and they know that they have the larger
Yeah.
team
Then,
support here.
then sometimes I get calls from IOM, International Immigration Officers. They call me. They say, oh, you have people who are coming. Before even those people knew that they are coming, they will call me and let me know that, do you have a space? Do you have a place? Because these people are saying that they want to join you. Who are you? Then I'll tell them I'm just a normal person. I'm their pastor. There is nothing I can do. Let them come. Yeah, they use my name over there. Then that's how they come here. Then they will call me before. They tell me they will come this day. The address where they're gonna be, this place where they're gonna be located is this place. Then I'm gonna, when at the time I'm gonna go there and see them, some meet them at the airport, like these boys we met at the airport. I went at the airport to get them from the airport. And some, like there's, I live with them. I live with them. We live together.
So,
Because they said if you don't have a place where to accommodate them, they're not gonna come. Then I said, send them, I will live with them. And then I live with them.
so Martin, educate us here. You actually have to sponsor and let them live in your house, but is there facilities here that can also take them in as a facility, or government sponsored, or some other groups?
Yes, yeah, the government sponsor them, but they have to have a place where they can stay in. So
Okay.
sometimes it's gonna be very hard to get a place. Then they will say, okay, if you have a place, we will bring them. If you don't have a place, they will stay. They're gonna say,
wow.
oh, the life there, I know in refugee camp. Even if it's one bed, let's share that bed. Let's share that bed, then we can be together. Yeah.
So how many, do you know how many are left in the camp that you used to live in? Do you have an idea?
There are a lot.
There are a lot left,
Yeah.
so this will continue for
Yeah, you know,
many
it
years.
doesn't, they can bring like 10 families, like after 1 year, 10 families. Yeah. The process is not like today, tomorrow, or after tomorrow. No, it's a process, because you have to do a lot of interviews. You have maybe 5. You have to go to CIS, you have to go to GV, and you have to go to IOM, check medical, culture, booking. Then after getting booking, some they retest them. When they found that they have a TB, you know, in the refugee camp, life is not easy. When they found that they have a TB, they send them home. Some they send them home when they are in Dubai. They tell them, go home, go back home.
It's a long trip here.
Yeah, the place is not yet. You know, the way they look for, like, if you go to rent an apartment, because when they come here, they have nothing. They don't have a work history. they have nothing, so they look for them a house. A house, each one of the house. If he looks at the credit and income, they're not gonna give them a house. Yeah, so we work together and look for a place where sometimes I'm gonna go see people who are from Africa, who have different places where we can help these people to get in without checking the income, without checking credit. That's why you're gonna see them struggling to get a house. Normally they get these old apartments because those apartments, they don't check those ones. Yeah, it's not easy. Sometimes they just bring them. There's no chair, no mattress. They just put them in the house.
Very difficult.
No food, because at that point, the new arrival, they suffer. They suffer because to be approved with food stamp, it takes time.
Right.
It takes time. To be approved for medical insurance takes time. That's why sometimes I go and tell Dr. Vu, we have a patient who really sick. Then Dr. Vu said, please bring that person, we will help. We will help, we will try to help.
We see them for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also actually do contact me directly also. I
Yeah.
like to see them.
Like it was Sunday, yesterday, no, Saturday.
Yes, Saturday.
We have a lady, she just came, she was very sick, they don't know where to take this. Lady, she was very sick, this young man told me that we have a person who are very, very sick. They don't have a car, they don't know where to go, they don't know how to ride the bus. And then they don't know where to go to get treatment. I asked that room, and she said, okay, help her to get in. We will see her, we will treat her. Normally we don't work Saturday, Sunday, but she sacrificed her time. Said, okay, let's work Saturday and Sunday to help people.
And they will thank you for your good heart.
Yeah. Some they come here with diabetes, they don't have insurance, they say, we're out of medication, we don't know what to do. Then she's gonna say, okay, we will help. Some they don't have food. We normally go visit them with her sometimes. She gives like rice, food, towels, yeah.
I think it makes us all feel very humble that we're in the US. We do have things, we have the basics necessities covered and a lot of luxury items if you work hard enough, and yet there is still a community, an incoming flood of immigrants that are just here with nothing, with empty-handed, and they need a lot of support. So I think that reminds us that there's still a lot of help to be provided even within the US. Thì kính thưa quý vị, thì nãy giờ thì ông chia sẻ một cái câu chuyện thì mình nghe qua mình tưởng là ngày nay thì ở tại nước Mỹ thì mình không có cần phải mình sẽ không còn những câu chuyện này nữa, nhưng mà ông kể là ví dụ như là hai bạn trẻ vừa mới đến sống với lại gia đình của ông đây, ông hiện nay là một mục sư, thì hai bạn trẻ này là cũng đã từng ở trong cái refugee camp của ông ở bên Uganda. Thì hai bạn sinh ra ở gọi là lớn lên ở đó luôn, và đến nay mới được định cư tại nước Mỹ. Và cái thủ tục mà đi qua nước Mỹ đối với hai em này thì là khá dông dài, là phải đi interview rồi đi khám bệnh vân vân, phải có người sponsor qua tới đây, phải có người là cho vào nhà ở, ví dụ như là hai bạn này là ở chung nhà với mục sư, và phải khám bệnh và rất là nhiều thủ tục, kính thưa quý vị ơi, mới được đặt chân đến nước Mỹ. Cần cái người bảo trợ, cần cái người mà cần chính phủ cho tiền system vân vân, nói tóm lại là cũng cần rất là nhiều cái sự giúp đỡ. Thì để con Tuyền hỏi vài câu với ông mục sư coi là nếu mà chúng ta có thể mà giúp đỡ thì phải giúp đỡ bằng những phương tiện nào. Bọn Tuyền biết là làm việc ở đây ở Arizona Family Plan thì có được cái sự mà bảo trợ của Dr. Xuân Vũ, thì cũng đã giúp rất nhiều các em từ việc khám bệnh cho đến có thể là tài chính vân vân. But let me ask you here, Martin, like I mentioned, I'm made us all humble just to learn that there's still a lot of these cases that you have to deal with, especially on an individual basis, such as the two young men that we have mentioned. What kind of support we have this forum here where we can share with our audience on the support that they can provide you, Mrs. Khan, and just overall your effort. What are some of the realistic things here that we can help you with?
Normally for like the basic needs.
Okay.
Yeah. Like because these people when they come, as I came too, they have a problem with language.
Language. Mm-hmm.
It's a major problem because they don't communicate. Second one, where to go get stuff. Even if they are they don't have anything. Even if they help them with little things, they don't know where. If they help them with little money, they don't know where to go buy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But normally when they come, they don't have shoes, they don't have clothing. They don't have transportation is hardest thing to navigate around. They don't know. They need people to help them, to comfort them, to feel like welcome. Because like I can mention like example, we went to Tucson Saturday. Those are like 4 hours drive, going and come back. There's one family they put them there, Tucson. So that's far away.
Mm-hmm.
He told us that he went to get food in the morning, come back like 7. Because he get lost, there's no who to ask. That's the first thing. To go get food first, to feed the family. It's number one.
Mm-hmm.
They are not, like now during the cold weather, they don't have those kind of jackets. They don't have blankets and shoes to wear when they want to go like outside.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't know where to get their own food.
Mm-hmm.
This food we eat here, it's totally different.
It's different.
It takes time to use to this food. It takes time. That's why you're gonna see some, they say they lost their appetite because of not finding the proper food. So they are waiting to use this food here. And but we need like a support. It's like transportation is the major thing we can do to help them with. When they comes, they don't have saucepans, they don't have plates, they don't have soaps. Those are basic needs. Yeah.
Some of the family, they are big and they have little kids, and sometimes you see them, they really need the help for getting the laundry.
Yeah.
And they don't have the money and they have to use, if it's in an apartment and they don't have the laundry inside, they have to go to the public.
Yes.
And if they doesn't know how to use the money, sometimes they don't have the money to use. It's really hard to the family coming and with the kids. Sometimes you see it's like single mom and has kids the first kid, you're gonna see her, it's like she's like 16 and she has a kid too. And the mom has other kids like 7, 8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's very hard. And she's asking herself for how to go out with all of that kids.
I'll take a minute here to translate. So I was actually very surprised at those basic necessities. You would think that it's kind of available, right? But in this case, it's not. So very surprised with that. I'm certainly Dr. Xuân Vũ has a few things to share, not a few ideas where we can help as well. Mà kính thưa quý vị, vừa mới hỏi ông là nếu mà mình muốn mà mình giúp đỡ thì mình có thể giúp đỡ gì, thì một chuyện rất là ngạc nhiên khi ông nói là những cái đồ mà căn bản, ví dụ như là quần áo hoặc là giày dép hoặc là xà bông nữa, thì những cái thứ này thì là đối với quý vị ngày mới đến á, thì là họ thiếu. Và có nhiều cái gia đình á, thì có rất là đông con, hoặc là gia đình gọi là mẹ độc thân, mà bà con vừa mới kể là có một người mẹ có đứa con 16 tuổi, mà em bé bây giờ bé 16 tuổi bây giờ cũng là mẹ nữa. Thật ra mình không có cần phải nghĩ sâu xa gì cái việc giúp đỡ, chỉ là những cái việc đơn giản như là quần áo, giày dép, thức ăn thì mình không nói rồi, và xà bông đồ. Đây là những cái thứ mà mình có thể gom góp để mà mình chia sẻ với những cái gia đình này. Ngoài ra ông cũng còn kể thêm là rất là cần những cái người mà giúp mà chuyên chở đó. Đối với các quý vị này mới đến thì cái việc mà đi lại thì nó khó khăn. Nếu mà có ai mà có khả năng mà giúp chuyên chở thì họ cũng rất là welcome. Tại vì Martin, I know that I've heard that there are days when you make 6-7 different trips trying to transport different people, right? So that's a lot of need that can be given to you there. Well, Martin and Khan, I feel like this conversation can go on forever. I know there are other people waiting to also share their story. Your story certainly is just beginning, and I feel like I just got to know your story. We would love to have follow-up conversations to further learn about your experience and see, what other things here the larger community should learn about your experience and should take away from your experience. So.
Yeah, you can add this. We passed through a lot of challenges back to the country, the refugee camp, even here. So people are still have kind of wounds in their heart. Yeah. So that one was my suggestion to them, to Dr. Fu, where we can, even if they get treatment here, but it hurt, still wounded. They have some story, as I mentioned, there's one young man who shot himself because he didn't have a place where he can discharge. People to listen to him and try to advise him to not make suicide because it's a loss in the community. And he hurted my heart because a young man of 21 just killing himself because he doesn't see hope, he doesn't see future. It was so sad news to hear that. So we have different people like those ones who are coming with moms and moms, with kids with different dads. To make those kids together is very hard because when they knew that they have a different dad, so they need a place where they can try to give them hope. We have a lot of problems going on. People who are coming, we try to educate them, like to try to give them the basics for about public health, like how to take care of themselves, like to wash, to clean, but still it hurts because we had a lot of conflicts back home.
We Apparently we keeping.
People are keeping
Wow.
some stuff in their heart
Yes.
because they don't communicate, they don't talk English. Even if they go somewhere else, they don't know how to clean their heart. They don't know how they can express themselves and get treatment because they have a lot of problems in their heart. We try to help with the church, but the church is a church. We have short time in the church, and we always go like Sunday. But if we can have a place where we can have like this counselor, where they can speak in their language, express what is bothering them in the heart, then they can feel comfortable. We're gonna find some, they just sleep. They are not sick, but they are affected by some stuff, bad mares, bad dreams at night, because there's like flashback, there's some stuff coming back. When they see like different people, they think maybe, you know, we are African, we are coming from Africa here to here. This is a new place, new people. Sometimes you're gonna see them people, they put them far away from other community where we cannot see them every day. So they bring them. If we don't have the information that this family is at this place, you can spend like a whole year without getting another person they know. Like when I came with my wife, we were just sitting in the house. We don't know anybody, you know. You have a neighbor, but you don't communicate. He doesn't say hi to you.
Right.
But back home, we used to sit down, talk, we say hi to everybody, and you communicate. But when they put you a place, sometimes they are facing a lot of problems. It's because they cannot share these stories. You're gonna see they are in the apartment. Then people come and knock on the door. You are making noise. The kids are taken. There is a lot of stories here in America. You're gonna see a mom came like with 8 kids. Then they took all the kids. She's just there because she doesn't have information when she gets in about taking care of the kids. Sometimes they just leave the kids in the house. Then the neighbor, they will call the police. Then the police will come and grab the kids and take the kids. Then the mom will gonna be very, very surprised to see the kids are not in the house. I met one guy. He was telling me if he can see where he can get the help to get his kids back, but he doesn't know because there is no communication. Some they are facing a lot of problems. They don't know how to read. They send them like work permit. This when they found it in mailbox, he doesn't know what is it. They just put everything in the trash, and then when he's gonna go to apply for the green card, when they ask this and that, I don't know. Those are the challenges people are facing now.
Completely. I think I can certainly share the experience. It reminds me of, for example, the Vietnamese community here in the late 70s and 80s when we first came here. I mean, everything that you just shared, and they went through painful periods of war experiences. Some of them lived in education camps and so on, but that connection wasn't there between community members, very challenging living in the environment in the new world and so on. So I can definitely understand the need for also emotional support and more on a day-to-day kind of how do you actually integrate yourself into the new society. That does take a lot of time. So I understand this is just the beginning for both of you and helping your community, but I think, I think Dr. Xuân Vũ has been there, a few other community at large, the Vietnamese communities, even the Laotian communities and other communities also have been through that experience. I hope that through this interview here, we're able to reach out to the other community leaders who themselves have gone through the experience so that they can quickly share with you and Mrs. Khan here a lot of the experience they went through, the help they got, and how to accelerate in this case, your community faster, and your community members, right, who are very much in need of this support. Really heartbreaking stories about the young man who was suicidal because he didn't feel he was supported. He didn't understand living in the U.S. and so on. So a lot of stories to still be told for sure, but as I mentioned, I heard through this segment here, other community leaders can, if you want to be connected to Martin and Mrs. Khan here to share resources and your experience to help the community, his community move a little faster through getting the team members be more integrated into this U.S. Community and society here. That would be fantastic. So I think there's a lot more stories to tell. There's a lot more people here that we're going to be talking to in the next couple of episodes. But it's been a very informative, I would say, session. And I thank you for opening your heart, sharing your stories, and then just opening our eyes to what your community and you personally have gone through and the help that you're providing to folks in your community.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Mời quý đồng hương hãy đến với nhà hàng Mekong Palace. Nhà hàng được bình chọn The Best điểm sống in Arizona với những món điểm sống ngon được mọi người mến chuộng như xíu mại, há cảo tôm hấp, chân gà nấu tương đen, bánh cuốn, bánh bao xá xíu, xôi hấp lá sen, v.v. Ngoài ra, nhà hàng còn nhận đặt tiệc, catering tận nhà hoặc venue cưới. Nhà hàng Mekong Palace mở cửa từ thứ Hai đến thứ Sáu, từ 11 giờ sáng đến 9 giờ tối, điểm sống từ 11 giờ sáng đến 3 giờ chiều. Thứ Bảy và Chủ nhật, từ 10 giờ sáng đến 9 giờ tối, điểm sống từ 10 giờ sáng đến 3 giờ chiều. Nhà hàng Mekong Palace tọa lạc tại 66 South Dobson Road, phòng 120, Mesa, Arizona 85202. Điện thoại 480 962 0493 480 962 0493.
But they're not alone. In this series, we also shine the light on the kindness of strangers like Dr. Xuân Vũ and her team, who welcome these newcomers with open arms and helping hands. You will hear how their support paved the way for integration and success. So join us now as we listen to these inspiring immigration stories. Be ready to be moved by their stories, inspired by their courage, and compelled to act. We encourage you to share the stories, discuss these stories, and open your hearts and lend your support, and become part of the welcome and embrace that makes America a true land of opportunity for all.
Cảm ơn quý khán giả đã theo dõi chương trình song ngữ Cuộc sống quanh ta với Tiffany Mộng Tuyền và khách mời. Chương trình phát hình vào mỗi tối thứ Hai hàng tuần trong khung giờ quen thuộc là 7 giờ PM giờ Arizona trên channel Viet News USA. Mọi đóng góp ý kiến cũng như tham gia chương trình, vui lòng liên lạc với chúng tôi qua số điện thoại 602 481 2647 hoặc theo địa chỉ email info.vietnewsusa@gmail.com. Chân thành cảm ơn. Chúc quý khán giả có một ngày thật là vui bên gia đình và người thân. Hẹn gặp lại quý khán giả trong chương trình tới. Và đừng quên bấm nút like, nút chuông để luôn theo dõi cũng như chia sẻ các chương trình của Viet News đến với mọi người. Have a wonderful day and see you soon.